G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin video. Today we're going to be discussing quite a few things on Bitcoin short term and Bitcoin medium and long term, and the main kind of topic I really want to discuss in this video, and the main point I'm trying to make in this video, is that Bitcoin is at a very critical rejection zone, right? It's at a zone in which we're very likely to reject from. We've spoken briefly about this in the past, but I want to kind of pitch you guys an idea here, and it's up to you whether you guys take it or not. The idea is essentially this. This is a pretty good zone to take profits on any Bitcoin position you might have in the hopes of potentially buying back later at a lower price. It's also a pretty good zone for a short position. And the reason that there's many reasons for this, mainly I can't really see much of a scenario for Bitcoin to move upwards here outside of irrationalities in the price action, which obviously can happen, but they're quite unlikely. Everything kind of points to Bitcoin rejecting and correcting here. Okay, and that's quite interesting to note. And so, you know, we're left in a position, I'll get into the data in a second, we're left in a position where you can say, okay, I'm a long-term holder, I don't need to care about what's going on in the short term, I can hold and I trust that Bitcoin's going to be higher than it is now in a few months, and you'd be completely correct in saying that. But if you're a trader, if you're a swing trader, you want to take it from a trader's perspective, this might be a good time to start thinking about, you know, taking some profits, cutting the risk off a little bit, and potentially trying to buy back a little bit, you know, a little bit lower. And you know, you might find that maybe we don't go lower, and that's definitely a possibility. But in my opinion, it's most likely that we do. So why do I say that? Why do I say Bitcoin's at a rejection zone right now? Why do I say the market needs correction? Many reasons. Okay, so let's start off by listing them all. Okay, so let me take a minute here. First and foremost, volume, rounding out. Volume at the bottom of the screen here. When you see an upwards trend, volume increasing in an upwards trend is a sign of strength. Volume decreasing in an upwards trend is a sign of weakness. That is tick. Volume is going downwards. We're going upwards in the price slowly while volume is decreasing. Shows weakness in the trend. Shows that the trend is unsustainable. That's the first thing. Second thing, ascending, broadening wedge formation. It is a pattern of exhaustion. It's a pattern that you generally see before a price reversal. Break to the downside around 74% of the time, according to the Crypto Academy and the research we did there. So that's another bad thing. That's two bad things for Bitcoin. Third bad thing, we're at very strong resistance on multiple time frames, right? First and foremost, we're at strong resistance by this red box here on the daily time frame. That's one. Second, Ethereum's at resistance, okay? Red line resistance on Ethereum at 1,689, plus Ethereum is in an ascending wedge formation with bearish divergence, okay? S&P 500, it's at resistance. It's potentially going to be a small little double top formation here, facing resistance it faced a few days ago. That's another thing. Another thing is total cryptocurrency market cap is at resistance as well at 1.03 trillion. Strong resistance. We've been facing that for about, a week now, just over a week. We're struggling to see any candle closes above that resistance level. That's another reason. A third reason, well, I should say probably a fifth reason by this point, is this, and this is quite an important one. Monthly chart resistance, okay? The 50 EMA on the monthly chart, the 50-month EMA, the blue line here, is seeing kind of like a touch, a rejection point, a kiss, a death kiss that we're seeing on Bitcoin here. It's a wick to the upside on that kind of moving average there, and we're unable to break to the upside. We're unable to see a wick above it. We did the same thing here in August, just before the capitulation below 19K, down to that level at around below 19 or 17.6K, down to that level at around 15.4K. We're seeing the exact same thing happen here, as well as that, and on top of that, we're also seeing strong resistance being faced here on the monthly chart, on the monthly candle close from 23.4K, this red line, okay, we saw that act as resistance on two occurrences before we dropped down, and that also lined up with the kind of death kiss we saw on the 50 EMA, so before the drop there. So again, you know, we've got Ethereum at resistance, total cryptocurrency market cap at resistance, Bitcoin daily chart at resistance with descending volume in a bearish market pattern. We've got the Bitcoin monthly chart as strong resistance in two areas. We've got one going by moving averages, and we've got one going by horizontal resistance. On top of this, the DXY has come up and it's actually flipped a support zone, right? This pink line has been flipped as support. So the DXY is reverse correlated to Bitcoin, okay? And so if this thing goes upwards, Bitcoin goes downwards. This thing's on support and it's in a descending channel formation, which is a bullish formation. So DXY is bullish, right? And every single Bitcoin time frame we can find is at resistance, okay? On top of this, let's look at the weekly chart. All right, we can see not only do we have the 50-week SMA, not only do we have the 200-week SMA, but we also have the 200-week EMA all above us at 25k on Bitcoin, acting as strong resistance. On top of this, we have the Gaussian channel, the bottom line of the Gaussian channel, which has acted as a very strong indicator for Bitcoin on the weekly chart. Generally speaking, when we enter the Gaussian channel, we continue downwards or upwards in the direction in which we broke through it. For example, here, we entered from the upside, we exit from a downside. We enter from a downside, we exit to the upside. We move through the Gaussian channel once we enter it. And that is currently kind of blocking Bitcoin from moving upwards, as well as the other moving averages I just listed there. So, I don't need to go on any further. All right, I've clearly established the fact that Bitcoin is at unimaginably strong resistance right now. But the resistance Bitcoin is facing is huge. Now, this leaves us with two scenarios. Scenario one is we break above that resistance against the odds, and in that case, bloody hell, Bitcoin's in a seriously strong position because it's just broken above all of that without even hesitating after a 55% move without a correction. But let me ask you this question. What seems more likely? A correction, a healthy correction after a 55% move, a healthy correction after a move that marked the second strongest January in Bitcoin's entire price history, or breaking to the upside above all of that stuff after seeing that second strongest move in Bitcoin's price history for January, okay? It's quite clear. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that a correction is more likely, okay? And so this is where we get left. We get left off by saying this. We get left off by saying, well, okay, here's our two options. We de-risk from Bitcoin. We take profits. We take our 10, 15% profit. I think it'll be 15% profit by this point, and we try buy back lower. Where would we buy back? We'd buy back probably around 20 to 19.5k. That's where we'd probably target to buy back. Provided we go that low. We'd have to analyze it when it happens, of course, but that's where I reckon we'd probably go. Or we just stay in the trade. We stay in the, I guess if this is a long-term investment, we stay in the long-term investment and we just wait out the bearish price action. And in a few months, we'd probably be back at profit, right? So that's the two options you got. And I can't answer that question for you. Everyone is an individual. Everyone has different trading strategies. Everyone has a different mindset when it comes to investing and trading. Some people are long-term investors. Some people are traders. But I tell you right now, if you are a trader and you're looking for a place to take profits and try to buy back lower, this place right here, right, in this 22 to 25k region, this is a pretty prime zone. This is probably where you want to do that. Now, I would say this, if we manage to break above 25k, okay, if we manage to break above all of these moving averages, we manage to break above Gaussian channel, we manage to break 25k very cleanly on the weekly chart, that is when you'd buy back. That would be your worst case scenario. So for example, if you sold now and you took the profits and we didn't end up going lower and we actually broke upwards against the odds, you'd buy back above 25k when we closed a weekly above that. That would be your buyback zone. Other than that, you'd be targeting that 19.5 to 20k region for a buyback. And again, I'm not saying that you guys need to do this. If you're long-term investors, by all means, stick by that long-term investment strategy. I'm still very, very confident in Bitcoin long-term. I think it's shown a dramatic amount of macro strength. I think the bottom is in. I'm not changing my mind on that. I'm not even personally sure whether I'll be selling here or not, because I actually do like to have a long-term bag of Bitcoin, just for financial security, and it also lines up with my ethos around cryptocurrency. And generally speaking as well, I'm predominantly a trader. I already trade with, 80% of the money I allocate to cryptocurrencies for trading. So realistically, a long-term portfolio of 20% for me is not much, right? I'm not too concerned about trading that long-term portfolio. I'm already trading the 80%. But for some people who might be all in on Bitcoin, and might not want to deal with being down for a few months or maybe a couple months, who knows how long it's going to be. We'd have to wait and see when it happens. We can't really analyze that at this point. Maybe this is a good time to take profits. If you accept the risk that we could go higher and you could get left behind, realistically, if I'm looking at it from a perspective of an analyst, and I've spoken to many other analysts I've worked very closely with, every single analyst I've spoken to, right? Every single technical analyst I've spoken to, every single trader I've spoken to, and trust me, I've spoken to 5 or 6, right? In this price range, has said that a move downwards is more likely than a move upwards in the short term, and most of them agree that the bottom is in. So what that means is that this is merely a short-term hurdle. So how you want to react to that is up to you. But what I also would say to you is this: if you're thinking of trading, if you're thinking of selling Bitcoin, you're thinking of de-risking, you're thinking of trying to buy back lower, I would also remind you that this move to the upside was meant to stop a lot earlier than it did. The TA was ignored. So there is the chance that the TA could get ignored again, okay? If you de-risk here and you try to buy back lower, it's not 100% certain you get back in. There's no 100% certainty in any market, but I'll tell you right now, it's a good place to have a pick, Okay, that's my personal opinion on Bitcoin right now. I think that, and I think everyone would agree. I think you'd be insane not to agree. The short-term price action is dramatically overbought. The TA is undeniably bearish. If we break upwards here, it is not the fault of our analysis. That is simply the odds playing in the unlikely favor. So without further ado there, I want to look at the CPI decision. Now, CPI as well is happening in about, the 14th? So 6 days, 5 days from now? Maybe a week if you live in the USA. I'd have to get my time zones correct there. But yeah, CPI is coming up quite shortly, so that's going to bring volatility as well. Maybe that will be the trigger for a move downwards. If we don't move downwards by then, maybe that will be the trigger for a move upwards after the move downwards we see here. Or maybe that will be the catalyst Bitcoin needs to ignore TA further and go further to the upside. I say it's unlikely, but it could be. Just keep in mind that that event is coming up. So overall, just to summarize, short-term Bitcoin definitely overbought. The TA is undeniably bearish at this point in time. We definitely do need to see a correction according to the TA. Now we just need to wait and see whether the TA is being logical or whether the price will break up regardless. So thanks for watching, guys. Before we end the video, check out the Bitget Exchange, sponsored by Wolves of Crypto here. Well, it sponsors the Wolves of Crypto channel, I should say. We trade on this exchange for a VIP group. This is the exchange we run and trade on. I personally trade on this exchange for about a year now. 5 times lower fees than Binance. Non-KYC, you can sign up from anywhere in the world. It's got a protection fund in case anything like FTX happens. So if the exchange goes down, it gets hacked, something behind the scenes goes on, you can make a claim to that protection fund and potentially get reimbursed on your funds, which is great. But even with that said, you probably shouldn't be storing money on an exchange anyway. It is just an extra little security buffer that is great to have. Why not? But I highly recommend you sign up to this exchange, use my referral link, and get 15% discount on fees by doing so. That's the best way you can help the channel. And then on top of that, if you want to learn how to trade for yourself, you want to become a trader, you can sign up to the Become a Trader 10-unit course. It's a university, format type course myself and Megawell Crypto developed in early to mid 2022, so early to mid last year. We made this course to teach people how to trade, regardless of what level of a trader you are right now. If you're just beginning, if you're maybe a little bit advanced, but you're not quite there, you want to learn some more, this course is for you. So you can check out all the information on the website and ultimately throw us an email at the email link at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you swiftly with any answers to questions you might have and an information document and video showing you the course visually. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.